Hey guys, welcome to Zurich. I'm going to put a Type 1 on. We're not allowed to de-ice with Type 4 here at the gate. So just Type 1.
Treatment now and observe fluid
Type 1 just takes off the moisture.
100%. I will call you back when ready.
All they're going to do is take off the icing off the aircraft. They're not going to not going to do an anti-icing on the Type 4. We'll do that at the de-icing pad. There we are. So before you start engines, you want to get all that ice away from your engines. You don't want to start engines. So we're having to do Type 1. You can do that with hot water or a Type 1 mix. So at the gate here, we're just going to get everything off the airplane. Then we're going to push back. I'm going to taxi out to the de-icing pad. Way out there. And we're going to de-ice before takeoff with Type 4, which will generate a holdover time. But we're going to talk about all that. Right now, even with Type 1, I should have the bleeds and the packs off. Let's go back inside. And before we did that, even though it's just Type 1, we're going to turn off the packs. Pack, and the engine bleeds off. And the packs, of course, off while they de-ice. And they're just getting everything away. We're going to do Origination Pre-Flight here. We're going to do the 4 columns. Start at the top. Circuit breakers are in. ADARUs aligned. We haven't loaded the box yet. I'll do that with you. Batteries on. These are the galley powers. Sometimes they get tripped. Usually you have to have a primary and secondary external power on. You usually want to have both on the ground. Otherwise, it will probably trip one of the galleys. I'm going to turn on the emergency lights. So I have 2,000 hours on this airplane. Window heat is on. Last time I flew it, all the hydraulic pumps are off. No smoking sign. We'll turn on the seatbelt sign. That's on. We're 5 minutes from pushback. I would have made a PA letting the people know we're being de-iced. Nav lights on. That's it. You can hear them. It's pretty loud when they're spraying. That's why you definitely want to let the people know. All the way up the top. Packs and bleeds are off for now. Going to come in here. We're going to put in our altitude, which original altitude is 5,000. 5,000. We're going to put in our runway heading. And that is 315. There we go. They're done with the Type 1. 315. And we'll get our V2 here in a minute. But it's probably going to be somewhere down in this range right here for this short flight. So I'll just put that in there. Okay.
De-icing and anti-icing completed. Anti-icing code is fluid Type 1. Concentration at 100%. I'm disconnecting. Good day.
All right, so that was Type 1. And we've got the ice off the airplane, so when we start engines, we don't FOD the engines out. Really, you don't want to start engines if you have ice all over the airplane. So the big thing here for the mode control panel is, for now, we want to make sure we're in indicator airspeed.
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
And heading is set, not track. Vertical speed, not flight path angle. Altitude in auto, not 1,000. Autopilot disengage switch is up. Flight directors are on.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
And we'll come back and get these guys in a little while. And so we want a data mode on here. I like airports and traffic, usually, not weather. So let's come across. Come across at the middle, looking for any unwanted flags. Set the altimeter. And we want to be in the
departure check completed.
HPA.
IFAS been inserted.
1018 is the altimeter. We'll get the ATIS in a second. If you go to the overhead, guys, master bright, any switch in the cockpit, there's 9 of them, I think, that's on the white dot, the master bright will turn those up. Once you take it off the white dot, you're on your own in that particular zone. But this will turn them all up. So right now, all of our switches, our lighting switches are on the white dot. You can see it there. White dot. And, yeah, that one's on the white dot. So that master will control those. Let's get our ATIS before we go any further.
Looking gear.
S runway 34. Transition level 75. Wind 250 degrees at 4 knots. Visibility 600 meters. Moderate snow. Cloud overcast 100 feet. Overcast 3,000 feet. temperature 0, dew point -1, QNH 1018, runway 28 closed. For runway contamination, refer to the latest SNOTOM. Expect remote de-icing at Bay Charlie 1 or Charlie 2. Acknowledge received Zurich departure information Tango.
All right, guys, so we have information Tango. That's FSI panel profile, guys. We'll talk about that in a second. I've got that going for Swiss Air Flight 2806, Zurich to Geneva. We're going to be going by the call sign of 7 Lima Victor, Swiss 7 Lima Victor, in cold weather operations, as you can see. De-icing, icing, taxiing on icy, slippery surfaces, taking off, low visibility approaches. Maybe a go-around. We'll see as we get over there. Anyway, let's go. And I've been working on the TFDi MD-11 project for 10 months. So even though I retired off this in September, I'm a little bit rusty on the 777, especially the PMDG version 777, which is a, as you know, wonderful add-on to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Fantastic. It looks to me like the tug's hooked up. Jet bridge is all good. We'll finish the interior inspection, get the box loaded, and get out of here. Leave any comments you want, any suggestions. I'm not sensitive. Well, I am sensitive, but, you know, I need the help. Okay, so the Gershuk mode control panel is set for now. We'll get the box in a second. Gear handles down. We'll set this to RTO. Auto brakes RTO. Spoiler handles down. Reversers are down. Throttles are idle. Flap levers up, and fuel control switches are cut off. Fire handles are in. Parking brake is set. Radios are set up. That is clearance delivery. This is ATIS. 2345 is ATIS for FSI panel at all bases, and we've got information. Tango 7500 transition levels should we come back in, low visibility, and we're planning on de-icing. We don't have to set up this box right now, as we're not going to be. We can really, it's redundant, but we could use this as a, especially when you get into DATSIM and things like that for communications. We've got the radio set up. Radar for now is off. We've tested it already. We'll assume the VHF is in data mode for that radio. So we've got the FOs, the COM1, COM2, COM1, COM2, and VHF for data mode there. And rudder aileron trim is 0 and 0 on the aileron trim on the top of the yoke too. You know, I wonder if I have a little check. I want to check something here. They did it. Very cool, guys. So that is what we set. When you leave the aircraft, usually leave it at 3 degrees nose up. You would check it on there. This tells me that you usually have a 0 mark and a 3 degrees up. And that's max up, max down. 0 right there. So you can see it's a little above, so that's 3. You want to check that to make sure it's calibrated. Very cool. They went through trouble to do that. I really have a lot of respect for that. All right, so we've got type 1, and let's go in and do the box. Oxygen is checked, all that stuff. Not going to do a complete pre-flight here today, guys. We're going to just get right to business as we come back inside. All right, let's go to the box, get that loaded. Okay, let's go. We're IDEN 777-300. GE 90s, which means we start one at a time. We'll start the right one first. We're on July 20th, and that's good through August 8th. Position, it's at Zurich, and I update it using GPS. Bottom right, route request, sim brief, and it should be coming in. Set payload, set fuel, select route, route requesting. Just got to be patient. You got to wait, just like on the real airplane. While we're doing that, we can look around. We'll get the takeoff data set in a second. Load. Wind data is updated. Be patient. We're uploading it. Be patient. Okay, we go to legs. Activate, execute, route data, load the winds. Then you can go to VNAV, go to the descent page, descent page forecast, load the winds. I wonder if they have, I doubt it. Let me just see if they have climb winds in there. Nope, they don't have the climb winds just yet. And cruise, everything's good there. So it loaded the legs, but it did not load the departure. So we are going to be doing Deben for November, the Almas 1 Papa. So 32, runway first always. Vivid for November. Execute, no transition. Execute it. And then the ILS to 4. And we said I think it was Nevis. Almas 1 Papa. The other Evis. Almost not 1 Papa. No transition. No transition. We're in there. And let's go to the route. Route copy. So Perfinet did not accept. And then we're going to go 0 fuel weight is 452.6. And let's see here, thrust limit. Let's go to the box. Upload it. This is not an instructional on the PMDG 777, because I'm not your resident expert. We're going to do performance tool. Going to go runway ID, runway 32. Condition is wet. We'll go with, I want to go with slush. Let's go with slush just for fun. Anti-ice, engine, import from aircraft. Let's import from the aircraft. Right here, anti-ice configuration, definitely going to be engines on. This weight is kilograms. I do believe we had set it for pounds, so we've got ourselves an interesting situation here. Options. Nautical miles. I don't know what I did wrong there, guys, but I did something wrong. Save. Okay, let's go back here. Performance tool. We're going to go import operational flight plan. That's a good exercise, right? 2, runway condition. We'll go slush. Import from aircraft. Flap configuration. Optimum. Rating optimum. Air conditioning. Anti-ice is engines on. That's better like it. I'm not going to import the weather because we have FSI panel weather, which is not the Navigraph weather. So winds are 270 at 2. I'm taking this off the ATIS that we just got. Outside air temperature was, I think it's -3. We're going to go -3. QNH 1018, 1018. Let's see if that works. There we go. So we've got a TO2. You can do an enginized TO2. If it's contaminated, though, you're supposed to do max power, but we'll pretend it's not contaminated. So TO2, so rating is TO2. All right, let's go in here. Takeoff. Flaps 5. Flaps 5. We got the Flaps 5, 89, TO2, 57, 57, 44, 42. We'll use the box. This is for contaminated, so it has a 34 low one there. CG, 29, thrust limit, climb 2. They said TO2. We're going to go max power and climb, just because of that. Max power climb 2, though, because of the thing. So we're going to have a max power takeoff, flaps 5, 134, 43, 59, and I'll put this guy on legs. All right, let's get out of here. So we do have a FSI panel, so we can do the checklist with that. If you go to the overhead, I'm going to click this and see if I can get it to work, and it's not. It doesn't have the thing. So we're going to call up. There's a clearance right here. Zero clearance. This is Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor, stand Alpha 15, information Tango. Like to request clearance to Geneva.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor Grüezi, you're cleared to Geneva as found. Runway 32, debit for November, climb 5,000 feet and squawk 4211.
All right, Swiss Air, the 7 Lima Victor cleared to Geneva is filed. Runway 32, Vebit for November, climb to 5,000, squawk 4211.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, your readback is correct. So do you need de-icing?
Affirm, we'll need de-icing for Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor.
Copied. When ready for push, contact apron 121.755. Have a nice day.
When ready for push, 121.755 for Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Thank you. All right, guys, so we got our clearance. We're going to go down to the squawk on the radios, and we got to set that up for, and what was our clearance? 4211. Public manipulation there of the control. So there's TA. And I forgot, guys, there's a new thing. So if I click my trigger here, select your flow before start, you'll see that the hydraulic pumps are going to go on. Let me go to the overhead. You can see them all coming on. The fuel pumps are going to come on. And the beacon's probably going to come on here. And there it is. That's the before start flow. I forgot that the new one is up here. All right. So let's call for pushback on apron. And she said 7155. That's set here. And before we do that, though, let's knock out the checklist. Oxygen is checked. Flight instruments are checked. Parking brake is set. Item override. Normal. Flight deck door is closed, I do believe. Let me take a look. Oh, someone told me that these captain gets 1 pen and the little click button works. FO gets 2 pens. Click button. How do you like that? Attention to detail. All right, let's go back to the box. MCP. We've got to finish setting up the numbers. 159 on the MCP. 159. 159, 314, 315 on the bank. 5,000 on the altitude. We need to review the SID before we call for pushback. There we go. Takeoff mode is set. We got that. CDU pre-flight's complete. I'm not going to go through everything to do this, but we go route, walk through the whole route together, right? Then we go legs, put it in plan and step through the plan together. Let's see how to do that. So you go plan, watch your nav display, and you can step through each point, making sure there's no discontinuities. And the last thing you do is go to Prague and make sure that the distance 171 matched what was on the plan, 172. It's within 10 or 15 miles, something like that. Otherwise, you start looking for maybe something's wrong on the upload on the flight plan. All right, the trim. Let's see what we got on that. You go to the takeoff page for the trim, 4.0. And if you come over here, you go to flight controls. 4.0 is set. So 4.0, 4.0. You don't see that very often. You can only do that when you have the packs on. And now the once we get that Type 1 done, we should have put the packs back on and the bleeds back on. Wait 1 minute, then you do that. All right. So I think the checklist is pretty much complete. trim is set, takeoff brief. Let's talk about that. So we looked at the taxi already. But we review the taxi together. 10-9, we are family. We're right here at A15. We're going to taxi out. Well, Juliet probably hold short at 28 and get over in this de-icing pad. They said that, and it's the middle one is C2 for the de-icing. And then take off on the runway. We're going to go to the top always for the departure. Transition altitude is 7,000. We're going to 6,000. Coming back in, the transition level is 7,500. When we contact Zurich upon instruction, not automatically. Noise abatement procedures. Okay, well, that's a real good point right there. We got strict noise abatement procedures. If you go to page 2 here, I did not do that. That's bad, Captain. And then 3,000. We have 1,500 power reduction, 3,000 excel height, and a 6,000 transition altitude. I think I already got that wrong, didn't I? You guys know that, though. Transition altitude is 7,000. Runway 32, 250 below 10, and 5,000's in the window, and that jives with our clearance. So that's our things. We'll be taking off an LNAV, VNAV, and that's it. And I'll be on takeoff, and the other guy will be on legs, because he's not flying. They're not flying. All right. Apron, Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor, request pushback.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor apron Grazie. Push and start approved, facing east.
Push and start approved, facing east for Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor. I said Victor for Grazie. All right, let's go back here.
This parking is too small for your
Continue
aircraft.
pushback. GSX choice, that's fine.
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set. Release parking brakes.
Brakes released. Let's go outside.
Release parking brakes.
Oh, I thought I did. Good try my switch. Just out of curiosity. There it goes.
Release parking brakes.
Oh, that's not good. Guys, that is not good.
Release parking brakes.
That's not good at all. Brakes are definitely really...
Release parking brakes.
Maybe there's shocks in there. Let's go to the EFB. Let's go in here.
Release parking brakes.
Let's go to ground operations. Open, they're all armed. Ground services.
Release parking brakes.
Ground connection, remove chocks.
Commencing push.
There we go.
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
Interesting. Okay. That was my bad. I guess I still had the chocks in there. Well, I obviously did. And they got to wait on start. Now, we wouldn't want to start engines if we had a bunch of ice in our engine to cell area. So that's why it's important. Some things about the pre-flight, you walk around, you look for any contamination on the wings, the fuselage. We obviously had them. Even though de-icing is taking place at the de-icing pad, you can't start engines if you got a bunch of ice in the engine to cells. So as a minimum, you want to get that ice off. So we use type 1, which think of that as kind of hot water. It isn't. It's got a viscosity to it, so it doesn't freeze. But that takes the ice off the aircraft. Once it's off the aircraft, if you have active precipitation, you'll use type 4, which gives you a holdover time. And then during that holdover time, let's say it's you got light participation. We had some moderate snow, though. Our holdover time might only be 25 minutes, and it's from the time they finish the icing. If you don't take off within 25 minutes, you either got to come back to the gate, get the ice, or do a contamination check. Somebody goes back, looks at the wing surfaces, or you have a certified de-icer come and look at the airplane, and you can take off. If at any time during that holdover time, we'll review this again, the precipitation stops, your holdover time, it goes away. I see so often out in the real world, guys say, "Oh, we only got 5 minutes left in the holdover time," but it stopped snowing 20 minutes ago. So once it stops, don't worry about it. If it stops snowing during your holdover time, you're good to go. But if your holdover time expires, you have to have an inspection by a certified inspector or go back to the gate and get de-iced. But if there's no active snow, once again, no active precipitation, you're good to go. You don't have a holdover time at that point. Something about starting engines. We'll start them one at a time, actually, because we have these GEs. We'll start with the right engine first, so we have normal brakes. But we're going to turn on the engine ice after engine start, and because we're below 10 degrees Celsius with visible moisture. And there's actually congestion on the taxiways and ramps, which means we're not going to put the flaps down until just prior to takeoff.
Set parking brakes.
Thought I did it. There he goes. Brakes are set. Let me cycle the brakes. I'm going to just terminate the pushback, guys. He didn't clear me to start. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to click on this flow, before start flow. If you go to the overhead, everything's good. I'm going to start the left one first. I don't know why it's not working. The right engine first, I'm sorry. Start in auto.
Unlocking gear.
Yeah, little quiet today, fella. Here we go. Bring up the fuel lever, it's auto start. Should have engine here. And it's going to do auto. It'll abort the engine start. I think it'll give it up to 3 starts if it sees any
Tow
problems.
truck disconnected. Pipe has been removed.
Letting Bob start the airplane.
Left is clear, right is clear.
What's he doing? That's a little bit disturbing, right? Oh, he just drove underneath, that's all. He's a busy little guy out there. Alright, let's come back inside. Now that they're done with those gyrations, go to the overhead. Got one normal start. Start valve is closed, starting the left engine. And we can turn off the engine ice for the right. Wing ice you don't do to airborne above 1,000. That's really if you only get a nice message. And there we go. We got a salute. Flash the nose gear at them. And that's it. There they go. All right, we're not going to put the flaps down, guys. We are not going to. I think my, I know I put on my TCAS, and it turned itself off. I think that came from using that automatic flow. Yeah, so normally we do the flight control, put the flaps down, do the flight control text, but because we have contaminated taxiways, runways, we'll leave the flaps up so that no slush gets up and freezes in the flap bearings and tracks, so that when you move the flaps up after takeoff, they get jammed. So we do not do that. So let's go to the checklist. And the ice is on. Let me make sure this one. That's why you have checklists, right? And recall, we'll do that. We can do that. Nothing. So our message is APU's running. We can shut that down because we're going to leave engines running for the de-icing. So we can go ahead and shut the APU down. Back to the box. We did the recall, flight controls, ground equipment. We're going to leave that open for after start, when after de-icing. All right, so now we're going to go to ground for taxi. Well, it's our apron, hold on. And apron, Swiss 7 Lima Victor's ready for taxi.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, taxi inner Juliet, or short runway 28.
Into Juliet, short of 28 for 7 Lima Victor. All right, clear left and right. I have a salute. Here we go. Parking brakes are off. And parking brakes are set over here. Something's going on with that. Let me just go down here. Parking brakes are off. Parking brakes are off. What else we got here? Passenger signs. Everything's good. AP is on cooldown. All right, let's do this. Clear left and right. What's this little tug doing? Naturally, we'd stop, guys. For this little fella right here. We have a camera on the 300 that we use to taxi just because it's so big. I'm just going to go around to left here. On the 300, you really want to square your turns off.
7
Usually
Victor,
when the taxiway line is
runway
right there.
28 and contact apron 121 decimal 855. Have a nice day.
Hold short 28, apron 121.855 for Swiss 7 Lima Victor. I'm 28755, so I'm going to come in here. I got traffic all over the place here. I'll try to stay to the right of this, guys. 128. 121.855. Swiss 7 Lima Victor holding short of 28. Don't know what to do with this guy.
Hello Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Cross runway 28, taxi de-icing pad Charlie 2, and report ready to resume taxi and when de-icing is completed.
Okay, clear across 28, taxi pad Charlie 2. We'll call ready for taxi. I don't know. I have crash override on. I really don't want to hit this guy though. I'll play it. Oh, he's going to make it difficult. All right, don't try this at home. I have special authorization to do this. It's a fire truck run over rating. There he goes. I don't know. He's going to have to go down as the worst de-icing vehicle ever known to man. All right, we go to Charlie 2 here. Cleared across, so we check left and right. Left and right. We're going to de-icing pad. A little bit about de-icing. So we're de-iced with type 1. That removes all the precipitation from the aircraft. We would have noticed that in the walk around. Would not want to start engines. With these remote de-icing pads, some airports do it at the gate, or they push you back and de-ice you off the gate. Here, they have a de-icing pad, which means you have to get type 1 at the gate because you can't start engines. You'll FOD out the engines or at least damage them. All right, we talked about it before. There's 3 de-icing pads here. 1, 2, 3. Ours is the middle one, Charlie 2. And what we're going to do here is we're going to get de-iced with type 4. We'll use GSX if they let us. Because we did type 1 at the gate, we'll see if GSX lets us do it again. Going into de-icing pad. Yeah, as I mentioned, if you want to square off the turn on this big one, wait till the turn point is right in the bottom of that corner. So I've obviously turned a little early. And a lot of guys taxi with the camera on. I got so used to it I didn't bother, but you're not allowed to use that camera by limitations on takeoff and landing. Naturally, we would have done that if we could have, because it would have been fun. All right, we're going to stop in here. I'll park the brakes, and I'll see if I can get GSX to de-ice us. All right, throttle's idle. Brakes are set. Parking brakes are set. It's not showing here just yet. Let's go to GSX, see if we can get de-icing done. Request de-icing service here.
De-icing vehicles are coming now.
All right, we make a PA to the people, ladies and gentlemen. It's Captain Richard. Welcome aboard. We'll be taxiing for takeoff here in just a second. But before we do, we're going to have, due to the precipitation outside, we're going to have the aircraft de-ice, which means we'll put a green fluid on the aircraft. And by the way, guys, I have to go up here and turn off the pack setting.
Confirm aircraft is ready for treatment.
Type 4.
We begin treatment now and observe fluid type 4. Concentration at 100%.
Packs
We'll
and
call you
bleeds
back
are
when
off.
ready.
So as I mentioned, we'll be getting de-ice. For those of you, if you look out over the wings, you'll see a green viscosity fluid being put on the aircraft. What that does is prevents ice from forming on the aircraft during takeoff. Once we get the de-icing complete, we'll be taxiing out and taking off, and I'll bring you on over to Geneva. So guys, they'll do the wings, the top of the fuselage, and the tail with the green fluid. When they use Type 1 to take off the icing, sometimes all they do is do the engine. But we had them do the wings, the fuselage, take all the ice off the aircraft at the gate. So when they're done, they're going to give us a holdover time. They might not do it here, and they're going to tell us what kind of fluid they used on the aircraft. We have charts. We have an application in our iPad. We put in the time that they gave us that it started, and what type of fluid it was, what type of precipitation. Boom, it pops up with our holdover time. If you have moderate precipitation like they were talking that we had here, we would have probably only around 20 minutes at the most, because we're at a 0 Celsius takeoff. If you had heavy precipitation, there are certain situations where your iPad will reject everything. You can see on the, it'll reject it because you can't take off with certain heavy ice pellets, heavy precipitation. There we go. Moderate to heavy ice pellets. Here you go. It's packs are off, bleeds off, cargo heave, bulk, everything's off. We're gonna wait 1 minute once they're done before we put everything back on. Like I said, we had an iPad that handled all this. It was pretty neat. We used to have little charts that we used. Like they're done. Technically they come up and do the tail as well. Look inside, we'll get our de-icing report, the certified de-icer.
De-icing and anti-icing completed, and de-icing code is fluid type 4, concentration at 100%. I'm disconnecting. Good day.
And we'd answer them. I'm not going to do that. I'll kick off FSI panel. All right, guys, I'm going to run a couple of checklists here. They're away. We have to wait 1 minute before we put the bleeds on, but we can put the flaps down to 5. Get started with that. Lineup flow, we're not going to do that just yet. Okay, while that 1 minute is going, we'll come over here, we'll do a flight controls check. And you can see that we have 4 on the trim. Flaps are at 5. Elevators are good. Tops take 6 seconds to go back and forth, so you don't bang them around back there. All right, let's go back to the checklist. Let's back to the overhead. Spend a minute, turn on the bleeds. They're on, turn on the packs. And I would, at this point, make a PA to the people, say de-icing is complete. We'll be taxiing, flight attendants prepare for takeoff. Pack left, right, checklist override. Didn't like that pack stuff. All right, flight controls are checked, ground equipment is clear, normal checklist, flaps are 5, for takeoff checklist is complete, and typically we blank out the center screen for takeoff. And let's see here. Swiss 7 Lima Victor is ready for takeoff.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, taxi holding point Hotel 3 via Kilo.
Hotel 3 via Kilo for 7 Lima Victor. All right, holding point 7 Victor 3. Brakes are off. Huh. Something's up with the parking brake, guys. It's a little slow to operate here. We click it and just wait. Let me try. Oh, I just got to press on the brakes there. Okay, here we go. Coming forward. It actually works like the real aircraft. Clear left and right. Hotel 3 is right here. Right there.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, when ready, compact tower, 118.1. Safe flight.
When ready, 18-1 for Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Yeah, it's a little danger when you're waiting to lower your flaps and things, guys. For obvious reasons, you good chance to forget it, so you got to be very disciplined with that checklist. All right, let's get the LNAV, VNAV armed. We're going to go ahead, and it's going to be LNAV departure, VNAV departure, 1,500 power reduction, 3,000 cleanup, going to 5,000. Transition level is 7. Ultimately looking for 17. Engine out. We'll climb up to 4,000 feet. Come back in here for the ILS. Any questions? No questions. Swiss 7 Lima Victor is ready for takeoff. Runway 32. And the flight attendants are ready.
7 Lima Victor Tower. Hello. Runway 32. Line up and wait. Expect departure in around 1 minute.
A lot of await 32 for Swiss 7 Lima Victor. All right, we'll do our flow. Line up and wait. Going to go to the overhead. Bring our power up. Brakes are released. Taxi lights on. I'll turn the turn-off lights on. The wing lights on. Hold off on the strobes till we're ready. I'm going to give them a ding. Let them know that takeoff is imminent. Slippy runway, maybe a little bit more nose pressure. It's could be a little slippery making these turns, so you definitely want to get slow in these turns. I was a little fast there, to be honest with you. Remember, 777 nose gear is right there. I'm a little crooked, obviously.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, wind light and variable, RVR 700, 800 and 800, runway 32, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 32, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. All right, that's right. We can go all the way down to 300 and come back in here. So we're good on the takeoff visibility. That's good. Strobes are on. I'll turn the logos on just for publicity. Everything else is good. We're checking the control panel. Here we go. LNAV, VNAV. What could go wrong? 50%. You definitely want to make sure that the engines come up above 50%. You check for stabilization before you hit toga when you have engine ice on. Toga.
Airspeed's alive.
All right, thrust is set.
80 knots.
Check. A little forward nose pressure because of the contaminated runway.
V1.
Rotate.
Right up to, yeah, it's slippery.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. All right, autopilot's on. We're going to be looking for
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, contact
1500.
departure 125.955. Show of room.
125955 for Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor. It's an animal here, isn't it? There's 4 for 3. It's capturing alt. I'm not going to bring the flaps up just yet so it lowers that nose. Once I see that trend, there it is. I'll bring flaps up. 1. Swiss 7 Lima Victor at 5,000. Flaps up.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor identified. Continue climb 7,000 feet.
7,000 feet for Swiss 7 Lima Victor. All right, 7,000's in the window. Here we go. And it's navving it. Climbing to 7. After takeoff items. Turn off looks good. 6 for 7. Level at 7. And our transition is 7, so our first flight level is 8. Turning. Yeah, I'll give you a little inside info. I have COVID. Yep, kind of got in the house this week. Makes for a very interesting production, I'll tell you that. We get the heading synced around, guys. After takeoff, gears up, flaps up, brakes are off. Normal. That's our descent check.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, climb flight level 130 and proceed direct Vebit.
Flight level 130, direct Vebit for Swiss 7 Lima Victor. All right, so 130 on the altitude. 130, press it. Vebit. How does that look? We're not going to go with beams, guys. Execute it. Looks good. Bring the heading around to match it. The reason I bring the heading around, is it critical? If they ever turn you and it's behind you, sometimes the aircraft will turn the wrong way. So yeah, we usually keep the heading slewed around. All right, we're out of 7 now, so we can get the altimeter set. Standard, standard, standard. I've takeoff climb checks complete. We'll get it out of 10. I'm going to go to the ATIS for Geneva, a very short flight.
This is Geneva Information Uniform. Runway in use 04. ILS approach. Transition level 80. Wind variable 2 knots. Visibility 800 meters. Moderate snow. Cloud overcast 200 feet. Overcast 4,000 feet. Temperature 0. Dew point -1. QNH 1018. Braking action medium. Acknowledge receive Geneva Information Uniform.
All right, information uniform, landing on runway 4.
This is Geneva.
Which on the ground I mentioned is a problem because you
Swiss
see
7 Lima Victor, contact the Swiss radar 128.9.
128.9 Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Bye-bye. All right, let's go to the overhead. Get the lights out. Chime them. 128.9. Swiss 7 Lima Victors out of 1000 for flight level 130. Should have said flight level 110.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, Swiss radar LO. You identified. Climb flight level 170, runway 04 in Geneva.
Climb flight level 170, copy runway 04 in Geneva for Swiss 7 Lima Victor. All right. So that's all done. We'll do a descent check in a second. I want to make a PA to the people for a short flight and tell them we got a very short flight. We're starting our descent in probably about 10 minutes. So if you have needs to get out of the seat, last opportunity to do so. Weather in Geneva is presently pretty much what you had in Zurich. Overcast skies, light snow, moderate snow at times. The temperature is around 34 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 degree Celsius, and the winds are calm. So I'll come back to the overhead, turn the seatbelt sign off, let them run around for a little bit. Here's 16 for 17. Make sure someone's minding the ship. The other guy can start reviewing the approach. This ILS 04, we have that set in there. 110.9.044. 110.9.044. It is 27 October 23. You got a Celka at 6,000. Transition altitude is 7. Transition level is 7.5. The transition level was information uniform 80. Transition level off the ATIS was 80. And transition altitude on the climb is 7. So out of 80, our first non-flight level is 7,000 feet, which is at our altitude at Indus, Belka at 66,000. And our minimums for category D aircraft, which the 300 is 1627. Now, someone told me you can go to the box and set 1627 in there. I really appreciated that advice, but I didn't take the time to actually learn how to do that. So I'm just going to do it via the switch here. Maybe before the next flight I'll learn how to do it. It's done hold on a second, guys. A little slow. I should probably take a look and see on the box. Let's see, let's check that out. Menu. PMDG setup. Nope. Menu. Options. Simulations. Yeah. Huh. Was it me, or was that just a coincidence that it turned when I did that, right? All right, so something about doing the low visibility approaches. We're gonna it's gonna be a category 1 approach. We talked about the mins. I think while I'm doing that, I'll just hold this here. Spin that wheel. I do have a razor that's supposed to let me spin it. Let's try that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to research that. The guys, someone told me how to go to the box and do that, but of course I don't remember it. Yeah, I have a hyper scroll. I should be able to do that. Hyper scroll it. Hyper scroll. There we go. Get it up in the ballpark, right? All right, so after another painful display there, 1627. Takes half the sim period for me to set this. Yeah, there's somewhere you can go in the box and type in 1627.
Traffic.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, contact Geneva arrival, 136.255.
136.255, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. So right now, it looks like he's leveling off there. If for something we got monitor vertical speed, we may maintain our current. If they say traffic, climb, we turn off autopilot. There he goes, autopilot, auto throttle off, and follow get us into the green band on the PFD. 136.255. Swiss 7 Lima Victor, level at flight level 170, information uniform.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, Geneva arrival, bonjour. Real Urmes 1 Papa arrival.
Good, the Urmes 1 Papa, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Okay, Urmes 1 Papa, we have that in the box. Urmes 1 Papa. Urmes 1 Papa. Go to the box. Here we get Urmes, Asiva, Badar, then CG 514, below 15, Sovad, or Bilbao rather. Oh, there's Bilbao. So 512 is 250 below 15, Bilbao, Pittem, G502 max 220, max 220. I'll put 220 and 7. And then for the ILS to 4. ILS to 4, we already talked about the frequencies. Missed approach is straight ahead via into hold. So it's basically, we'll go nav at 400, we'll go positive, going around Toga, flaps 20, positive rate gear up, set missed approach altitude. 400 feet we'll go LNAV, and at 1,000 feet we'll go VNAV. Clean it up, enter holding, and figure out what we're going to do from there. Unable cruise altitude, that's okay. Index, perf, put in the cruise of 17. Invalid entry. Why? We are at 17. Maybe I need to put in 17,000. Don't know. VNAV 170, and that'll do it. Sorry guys, like I said, been on the wrong airplane for a long time. Here we go, slowing down a little bit. We'll let it slow down and get itself onto profile as we make our way. All right, the approach is brief. The arrival is briefed. 8,000 on the transition level. Missed approach is briefed. After landing, taxi. I don't know where we're going on the gate. Let me see here. I don't think they told us. Nope, they didn't. But landing runway 4, left-hand turn off, probably all the way down at the end. 12,000 feet of runway, wet runway. Might be Bravo. It's a tight turn. And the terminal's over here. We'll have to figure out where we're parking on the terminal. I don't have a gate assignment yet, so I haven't done this profile for a long time. All right, let's see if we got a ETA here. 41. The time, so we're going to be landing in about 18 minutes. Should be starting down here shortly.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, descend flight level 110 and reduce speed 250 knots or less.
Send to flight level 110, slow to 250 or less, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. All right, I'm going to go 110 and 250, speed intervene. I can actually change that in the box. And it's not going to do it, so we're going to actually go flight level change and get ourselves starting down at 250. There we go. And I'll make a PA to the people, let them know that we'll be landing here shortly, and turn on the seatbelt sign. I'm going to get the lights on now while I'm thinking about it. American, we always used out of 18, by the way, on this airplane. I know VATSIM and IVAO uses 10. Anytime you see the aircraft descending slowly, of course here we're slowing down, I always look to make sure my at-home throttles are in idle, which they are, and the N1s make sense. It'll do a little better, probably get about 1,200 feet per minute once we get to 250. You can see that the vertical track indicator is starting to come down. We'll go down here. There it is. If I want to get back on the vertical track and go back to VNAV, on the VNAV I could put in 250. Execute it. And then when I go, if this vertical track were to come down, I could just go VNAV and it will follow a VNAV speed for me. Right now we're well below. All right, let's run the checklist. Yeah, this COVID's kicking my butt, guys. I'm not feeling too good. Hope you guys don't catch it from me. There we go. Recall looks good. Notes, auto brakes. Yeah, it's snowy runway. Let's go 4. Auto brakes are 4. Landing data. I'm going to go flaps 30. Pop that in there. And a big thing about contaminated runway landings, and we certainly has it. They do have moderate snow. It's light snow right now, occasionally moderate snow. We don't want to go for the grease job, get it down, hopefully the first 1,500 feet or so, and approach grease complete, checklist complete, and get that thing stopped, even on a giant runway like this. All right, normal checklist. Altimeters to go out of 8 when we're out of 8. You can see we're doing about 1,200 feet per minute. PMDG really has done a great job up modeling this aircraft. They just have. They have. Impressed. Yeah, it's funny. I'm still current on this airplane. I'll be current until October. I need a first class physical. I'm not doing that stuff. Past that, go get a few landings in the sim, and I'm good to go. Yet, I'm rusty. I can feel it. I'm moving around the cockpit. It's not like home like it was. So I noticed that my viewer is not working here. What's up with that? Let me try something here, guys. We try camera. Camera type cockpit. Free look. There we go. Yep, just another simism. I'm going to leave this altimeters up to remind me to get it out of 8. Now, there used to be, what you could do is on the VNAV page, forecast, you can put the transition level in here. They've got it in at 8. That way you'll get a warning. See that? So if you wanted to change it to 7, you could, but it actually updated to 8. Ours never did. You always had to come in here and put it in there. There's 12 for 11. Another thing, if you want to do this, a good way to do this.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor descend flight level 90.
Flight level 90, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Flight level 90 hasn't gone into AAL capture yet, so it should do it nicely. One thing we have to be careful of is to make sure we hit our speed restrictions, and that's 502. We'll need to be at 220 because we're not in VNAV right now. Where's flight level change? All right, so the field elevation at Geneva is 1365, so we're below 10,000 feet AFL, so technically we need to give them a chime and go sterile cockpit. Flight attendants prepare for landing. Let's review that go around one time, guys, since we have a minimums of 200 feet, which is probably the easier way to do this, right? 1627. I think I better put this really close. So if we're going to go around, we'll say going around toga, flaps 20. Going around toga, flaps 20. And then positive rate, gear up, set missed approach altitude. Positive rate, gear up, set missed approach altitude. At 400 feet above the ground, we're going to go LNAV. And at 1,000 feet above the ground, we're going to go VNAV. And we're climbing up to 7,000. Cabin's ready. So we want to make sure on final we have 7,000 in here, runway headings in there, and also we'll be ready to go at that point. There we are, leveling off, 250, no problem. Leave a comment, suggestion, whatever you want. I am open to suggestions, especially the sim. I have to figure out, somebody did leave me a message on how to set those mins via the box, which is a nice feature that PMDG has. Because that took me, not quite half the sim.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor descend 7,000 feet QNH 1018 and expect base turn beam in this.
Send to 7,000 feet, 1018. We'll expect that. Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor. All right, 7,000. Flight level change. And the base turn via Indus. So want to come in the box. We're going to set the altimeters now, guys. 1018 is what we're looking for. Out of 8, we'll set that. Base stern be Indes. Indes. So Indes, make sure that's in the box. I'm not sure I have that. No, I don't. Make sure the spelling. Indes. All right, and Indus is at 7. Indus at 7. All right, altimeters are set. We're good to the before landing checklist. 8 for 7. Let's get this up where we can see what we're doing here. You'll notice with me, guys, kind of a stream of consciousness thing. I just kind of tell you what I'm thinking. That's kind of my best thing I bring to the table is my experience. So if you can see what I'm thinking or not thinking, I think that's where I bring my best to the game. At 5:02, we need to be at 220 knots, according to the arrival. I'm going to bring my heading, although the heading's going to slew around on low capture anyway. So it's really not necessary, but if they're going to give us vectors, I'm going to get this heading kind of off to the side on like a base leg setting on a pre-select. Maybe a 90 degree. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do, guys. Captain Batfinger. All right, I'm going to start bringing the speed back to 220. And speed below 265, flaps 1.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, maintain present heading, speed 220 knots or less.
Present heading, and then 220 next for Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor. All right, heading hold. So much for presetting my heading, right? You guys probably knew that. Heading select. All right, with that, we can come down to the box. We can extend on the approach. Belka intersection. 043 inbound. How does that look? Said dotted line. Looks good. Only problem is in this yeah, so what we can do here is go direct in this and put in 043. We get that extended line there. All right.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, turn right heading north, descend 6,000 feet and you are cleared ILS 04.
Right turning north and then down to 6,000, clear the ILS 4, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. All right, let's go to 6,000. And we're going to go flight level change. We're going to head north. All right, auto on the bank, 360 on the heading, going to 6. That's a nice heading. And we are going to... I'll wait till we roll out to start getting... we're inside of Belka, so I'm going to go off Belka, guys. I'm going to go... off Belka like that. Also going to bring the speed back a little bit. Speed below 245, flaps 5. Comes flaps 5. Once we roll out, I'll go set up approach. All right, there's the heading. Glide slope's alive and visible. Let it roll out. I'm going to arm the approach. Loc arm, glide slope arm. We're at 6,000 and our missed approach altitude is 7,000. We're here. We can intercept from here. So I can actually set up 7,000 now. And here we go, because we were altitude capture. So missed approach will be set up here. The heading will slew around upon capture, as it does in the 777. Belka is our FAF, but it's pretty long final there. Pretty long final. You can see that it's 14 miles out, so don't have to be in a big hurry here. Speed brakes arm, auto brakes at 3. Should be getting low capture any second. Low capture, and the heading slews around. You can see it sit around. So the heading's set. Missed approach altitude is set at 7. So we're good. Let's review that missed approach one more time. Going around Toga, flaps 20. Positive rate, gear up, set missed approach altitude, which would be 7. At 400 feet, LNAV at 1,000 feet, there'll be a little white bar, VNAV. We got low capture, glide slope capture. And then we'll fly, enter holding, we'll tell them we missed approach. That's the plan, because the visibility they're calling for there is light snow, overcast at 100. Remember, here's something important. At 200 feet, we have to see on the radio altimeter, we can continue on the approach lights, but we have to see the runway by 100. So at 200 feet, we can continue on the approach lights, but we have to see the runway by 100, and going down to a minimum of 1627. And that minimum is actually 216 for Class D. And if we see the runway, Pappy's are on the left. It's got Mausers, high intensity lighting for the arrival. All right, we're pretty far out. We're still 12 miles. This is one
Swiss
long
7
final.
Lima Victor, speed 180 knots or less, contact tower 118.7. Bonjourne.
180 or less, 18.7 Bonjourne. Swiss 7 Lima Victor. 180 or less. 118.7.
2,500.
Tower Swiss 7 Lima Victor's on final for runway 4. Gear down.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, Geneva Tower, hello. LVR 700, 700 and 700. With is CAM 1104, your catch land.
Go to land runway 04, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. 700, 700, 700. And we need 550. So we're good. Gears down. We can go flaps 20, which is 225. Flaps 20. Want to be nice and stable on an approach like this. Give yourself a fight chance. I'll hand fly it inside, guys. You know, really, should you? No. The other guy would go, come on, dude. He wouldn't like that. So let's go all the way to flaps 30. We're below 180. Flaps 30 before landing checklist. Yeah, the other guy would be, come on, man. Because that doubles his workload. So all this macho sim crap, in the real world, we kind of don't do it. In a situation like this, weather down their mins. The other guy would really appreciate it if you flew the approach. I'm going to fly 140. All right, gears down, flaps out, 4 landing checklist complete. Clear to land. Probably my best chance to simulate a go-around is to hand fly it, right? So autopilot's off. Fly this PMDG. Nice. Yeah, right now the other guy, if I said autopilot's off, weather's down 100 feet, he would be, come on, Jeff. You suck. We're going to do it. Hopefully our flying won't cause the missed approach. It'll just be the visibility. But if we see the runway, remember, 200 feet above the ground and the radio altimeter, we have to see the lights at minimums. But we can go down to 100 on the lights, but at 100, we have to see the runway. Low capture, glide, slope capture. We're going to look for land 3 at any time here. Oh, now we get the autopilot off. Here we go. Not going to get land 3. I'd be looking for the runway inside, outside. And we're stable. At 500, we want to check airspeed, stable, target, sinking 5, got to be stable. And also, we're checking for 1/3 of a dot on the localizer and a half dot on the glide slope, getting a little high, putting the nose down a little. Remember, 200, looking for the lights at 200.
Sync rate. Approaching minimums.
I don't have the lights going around.
Minimums.
Toga, flaps 20. Positive rate, gear up, set missed approach altitude, and that's set. Autopilot's on, guys. And Swiss Air
7 Lima
Victor,
Victor, compact to Geneva approach, 136.255, see you later.
136.255 for Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor. All right, so we got to go back to LNAV out of 400 feet, which is right there, and out of 1,000, which is the top of the bar, we're going to go to VNAV. Top of the bar, VNAV. See that white bar? Swiss 7 Lima Victor's out of 3,000, climb into 7,000.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, hello again, climb 7,000 feet to Saint-Péanord.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, climb to 7,000 feet, direct to Golf Victor Alpha and hold. Sierra Papa Romeo, hold. All right, guys, so we're navving it. We got flaps 5. We're going to go to flaps 1. I'm going to speed intervene. And I'm going to request holding at flaps 1 speed. Now I'm going to go flight level change, 210. And we're going to request holding at 210. All right, so we're LNAVing it, VNAVing it. I've got 210. We're going to leave flaps 1 in the holding pattern. I'm going to make have the pilot in the monitoring just tell the people we're going to have to come back in the other way. The runway wasn't in sight at minimums. Be on the ground here 7 minutes. Flight attendants prepare for landing. Now, the tricky thing on this box, we're at 6 for 7, and it's 7,000 feet, not 70, is that 6 for 7 is the checklist. Checklist, you're going to have to get it out to where you need it to be. You're going to have to go checklist override, normal, descent, checklist override, normal, approach. Altimeters are set, normal, and that's it. All right, so we're gonna go out to Sierra Papa Romeo and hold. Wait for our approach back in. We can come in the other way. ILS 22 Category 3. I think I better go to minimums to radio. And we usually set our minimums to 0. Some aircraft, some airlines set it to 100 or 50 on a Category 3. We just set ours to 0.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, low visibility procedures in force now in Geneva. Expect ILS CAT III runway 22.
We'll expect the ILS CAT III runway 22 for Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor. I keep saying Swiss Air, but I think it's just Swiss. We'll talk about that in a second, guys. We're just going to keep flying this approach. We'll settle that up here in a minute. We'll get it all programmed. Radio altimeter is coming to 0. All right, so on the Category 3, the captain in our airline, the captain always flew it. The FO stayed inside for the entire time, including the rollout, because his job, basically, the FO is constantly in go-around mode. Their job is to say go-around. So they're looking for anything that would warrant going around. There we have 0 on the radio altimeter. Let's take a look at these mins. Category 3, we need 75 meters. We have that. 1087, 224. We'll set in just a second. I'm trying to look to see if this is going to be... I'm not going to put this in the box yet because it's going to cause
Swiss 7 Lima Victor horned over Saint-Pré and report ready for the approach.
We'll hold over Saint-Pré and we'll call ready for the approach. Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Okay, Saint-Pré on the mist. ILS 4 should have been in there. Should have been in there. Saint-Pré. It's a right-hand turn with 224 inbound. Hold. Yeah, that should have come in automatically on the miss, but it didn't. So stop complaining, Captain. 224 inbound, right-hand turn. We put our EFC in and everything. So doing a teardrop entry into holding. And if I call them right now, entering the hold, which I'd be required to, they think we're ready, which we kind of are. And Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor is ready for the approach. We're entering the hold.
Roger, Swiss 7 Lima Victor, descend 6,000 feet and you are cleared ILS CAT III runway 22.
Send to 6,000, clear the ILS CAT III runway 22, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. All right, so let's go to the box. Departures arrival, ILS, SPR, enter. Go to the box. Come back in here. And we can go to the hold. Exit hold. Exit hold. Should do a turn back around. And we could actually do a right-hand turn if you wanted to. Didn't mean to do that, guys. Oh, the world of the sim, the world of the sim. You are... Yeah, it's turned inbound. Exit is armed. So that when it gets to SPR, it's going to exit the hold. That's what it's going to do as it turns back around. I think what I'll do, there's a bunch of different ways to get out of the hold. One is exit hold, which will turn and exit at the hold fix. The other one is exit is armed. On the legs page, you could actually go direct to SPR at this point. You don't want to do it until you're in the holding airspace, otherwise it'll go left. So I think now it'll go, so let's go direct, SPR, SPR, execute LNAV, LNAV, and executing it. There it is, going in. Let's take a look at the approach. Coming up, there's SPR. Should be heading directly towards it, which we are turning for straight in. So we'll get it all armed up, the localizer, once we're heading right there. You know, it did not go, did it? So SPR, execute, and LNAV. Yeah. It said LNAV, but it didn't do it. That's okay. He might have called us. And we're still, if you look on the PFD, 23 miles out. I don't know why it didn't do LNAV. I would guess that's just a simism, guys. Or something I did wrong. I'm open to it. What do I know, right? We're still 21 miles out. There's a ghost, which is the localizer. We call it a ghost. You can see that coming across. Armed, glide slope armed. All right, so we're going to look for land 3 on this one. So we're going to have low capture, glide slope capture. At the FAF crossing, we'll cross-check 4,000 feet at 808. If at any time the FO thinks we should go around, they'll just say, go around, which will be going around, flaps 20. Toga, positive rate, gear up, set misapproach L. We'll make sure at 400 feet we go LNAV, at 1,000 we go VNAV, clean it up and execute the misapproach. Right now we have 14.8, our bingo fuel back to, over to Lyon. Yes, Lyon is down around 12, so we really just have this approach to play with here. It's more like 13, it's more like 14.1, we're at 14.7, so in the event of missed approach, we'll be diverting to Lyon. Just enough time. It says insufficient fuel. That's because we have Lyon in there. Don't worry about it. I think we're going to be just fine. And we are still 16 miles out. All right, it's flaps 5. Sure wish I knew what gate we're going to after landing. I'm optimistic. It's going to be a left-hand turnoff, probably at Echo. And we'll figure out what gate we're going to from there. No idea. We'll figure it out. All right, so we have glide slope capture, low capture. Let's set the misapproach altitude. Approach. 7,000. We've got runway heading is set, so that's set. You can go gear down. Flaps 20. And speed below 225, flaps 20. Got auto brakes for 4. Spoilers are armed. Flight attendants prepare for landing. Checklist override. Checklist override. Checklist override. Normal menu for landing. Flaps got to go to 30. Or we can go flaps 25. Got a little ways to go here. Yeah, 14.1 is our reserve plus alternate. So we're going to touch down just below our reserve plus alternate, which means we would get to Lyon with under our reserve, probably by about 1,000 pounds. And go flaps 30. Big thing here is I want to be stable really early.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor contact tower 118.7. Bonjour.
Swiss Lima Victor tower 18.7. Bonjour. Tower Swiss Lima Victor for the ILS 22.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor Geneva Tower LO LVR 400, 400 and 300. The wind is light and variable. Runway 22. You are clear to land.
Clear to land 22, Swiss Air Lima Victor 300, 300, 300, 300, category 375, so yeah, we're good on the feet. Right at the minimums. All right, so we're going to look for land 3 after we pass about 1,500 feet. All right, let's go to the box. Landing checklist is complete. Normal menu we'll do after landing. The checklist is a little out of sync, guys, because of the misapproach. All right, box. Approach. Flaps 30. Dropped off a knot. And speed below 180, flaps 30. We got that. And our speed, 137. Why don't we go for 140? All right, so we got speed, heading, altitude. Misapproach is ready. There's land 3. We got rollout and flare is armed on the PFD.
1,000.
Stable. Remember, we don't have to see the runway. Right now we're watching the course bar. At 300, the captain's inside, outside. FO state is inside. Half dot on the localizer. Third of a dot on the course. Plus 10 knots, minus 5 knots on the airspeed. Otherwise, it's a go around. And go to Lyon. I see the ground. Captain shouldn't be looking out there. At 500, we look stable, target sinking, so half dot, third of a dot, plus 10, minus 5.
400.
Inside. The captain
300.
at 300 starts inside, outside. Inside, the FO stays inside. Left-hand turn off. Runway in sight. Runway in sight.
Approaching minimums. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Beautiful. In reverse. If you see any drifting, you go click off the autopilot. I'll do it now. Autopilot's off. 80 knots. Come out of reverse. little slippery. Auto brakes are off. We'll get off here.
Swiss 7 Lima Victor, contact apron 121.855.
121.855, Swiss 7 Lima Victor. 121.855. 121.855. Apron Swiss 7 Lima Victor is landing on 22.
Bordeaux Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Taxi stand 4 via outer handling 2.
Stand 4 after link 2. Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor. We'll have to take a look at that, guys. After landing flow, your flow, APU's on. APU off, APU on, definitely. All right, let's find out where gate 4 is, guys. I'm going to stop, clear the runway, and we'll stop up here. The APU started. Gate 4. Gate 4. We're at Delta, so I do believe it's over there, but hang on a second. Let's go here. Gate 4 is at the end of the main terminal.
Bordeaux Swiss 7 Lima Victor. Taxi stand 4 via outer handling 2.
Stand 4, Alpha Link 2. Swiss Air 7 Lima Victor Global. Hello. Alright, so we're up in here, guys. So we're going to have to go right here. Next right. Outer Link 2. And that's a right-hand turn. Outer and then link 2. Link 2. Right about in there. Challenging, hardest part of the whole trip, right? Taking my time. Link 2 should be up here. We got a little ways to go. So look at the overhead. Lights are out.
Hi guys, JP, welcome to Geneva. This was a typical Switzerland snowy day that we have sometimes in winter times, where you can lose your days waiting for your slot or for your de-icing sequence. So make sure you take enough fuel when you have this kind of days, as you never know if you have a runway closure, snow removal in progress. So this is the kind of days that we love as pilot. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of scenario where you have to think a little bit ahead, de-ice the aircraft, and fly in low visibility. As always, I will be very happy to get your comment in the forum or in the Discord channel, and I see you very soon for another training scenario. Bye-bye.
Very cool. Nice job, JP. Link 2, so it should be right up here in gate Alpha 4. I wish I could put this thing on there, but I can't really. Alpha 4 is right there into the terminal. Okay, so let's turn in here. Make sure yeah, we'll just go in here, guys. Link 2s, these are remote out here. So I'm going to go in between these buildings and we'll go to 4 over there. Link 2 in here. Hardest part of the flight. What is it with us and de-icing vehicles today, right guys? Gate 4 looks a little small. I'm going to go over here. This looks a little bigger. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. That's challenging. We got a missed approach, talked about de-icing. I don't have my old apps. It used to be great when I would demonstrate this and I had my applications I could show you. Guys like that a lot. Can't do that anymore. Come in, get up as close as we can. All right. Brakes apart. Make sure, all right, we've been having issues with that. That was my fault. Brakes parked, seatbelt sign is off. APU is running. You can chop them. Chop 1, chop 2. Then as a captain, what I do is I come up and I go hydraulic pumps off. You go this way. Turn them off counterclockwise, prevents fluid transfer. We go fuel pumps off. This fuel pump's going to stay on because of the APU. Off. That one will stay on, like I mentioned, because of the APU. And then we turn off the emergency lights. And last thing we do when the engines wind down, we turn off the beacons. And we call for checklists. See if we can get this to run. No, can't do it. So we'll do a secure checklist. We'll go to the box, shut down, parking brake. Let me go to here and I'll get some chocks on it. And then we'll start set chocks. Once I do that, I can release the brakes. Good. And I can start the GSX. Oh, maybe I can't. Maybe I can't. It's not going to let me do it. Anyway, item override, normal. And we'll do the secure checklist, shut down, secure, ADARU's emergency lights off and packs. Yeah, GSX doesn't want to wake up. That's fine. We're not hurt at all. So go to the overhead. ADARU's are off. Emergency light switches. We actually have those off. And that's good enough. Pretty good, pretty good. Let's go outside. Yeah, I don't think GSX can let me deplane. That's okay. Let's go outside. Call it a day. Learned a lot of fun. Nice job, PMDG. A little crooked drone here. There we go. Only thing I could think of is, did the engines not shut down? Oh, they're shut down. Okay. So welcome to Geneva. That was cool. What gate do we end up at anyway? Yeah, pretty close to 4. It's one of these. All right. Thanks a lot. File time's out. Don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate all your support. We'll see you guys. Bye.